and you look at the country that they were supposed to be the elders of, and you have to shake your head and be like, God damn it, man. Does this country have elders or leaders at all? Or just dealers, bunch of rogues who still think we are in 1970? Osoba is one of them. They will pretend not to understand a question sometimes, or use the usual dribble, bulu, blah, blah, blah nonsense just to avoid taking responsibility. According to him, Tinubu is always very sad. Oh, he's such a very sad man. Every time you talk to him about this, he's always very... Osoba, listen to this.
Well, I'll start with your last question. Of course, the Igbos have a right, like any Nigerian, and I support their right to the presidency. I have explained to you that we are lucky. By 1st of June, the whole system had been set up to totally collapse. That's what I'm telling you. If we didn't go the way the government had to go, okay, take for example, let me give you one thing I discussed with him on Christmas Day. I can reveal that. In the issue of foreign exchange, do you know that we Nigerians are also not helping? The amount of money out of the system, me as a grassroots person, as a journalist, and you know my area is investigative journalism, even ordinary drivers, ordinary vulcanizer, they are changing their little naira to 50 naira, they'll keep the $20 at home, $50 at home. You see, the confidence that everybody lost before Tinubu came in spilled over into his administration. I've had to tell him, I said, look, Mr. President, can you do something? The amount of money out of the system is enormous. What can you do to encourage people? I even told him, go as far as saying, well, look, ICPC, EFCC, stop querying source of fund. Let them bring all this money that they are high. Even the scarcity of naira. I told him, I said, some people are keeping, even the new naira note that was supposed to be in circulation, some people are keeping it, and they are selling it at event center, party centers. We Nigerians ourselves need to change our culture. I can tell you, he is in pain. And when we talk to him, I can see the pain in him. So you see, as I said, it's only 7 months. Let's try a little bit more. Maybe by the time it's a year or so, like Wole Soyinka said, we will do a massive review of the whole thing.
The more you look, the less you see.
It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian.
He can talk better. In case they are telling you that, he's an old man now. No. Come on, Osoba. He can talk better. But you are hearing all that. The foreign exchange, ICPC, EFCC, they should stop chasing people. Tinubu should advise people to bring the money out. For Canaiza, they have $20, $50. All this they have. Okay, here is something I didn't tell you. I should have kind of put you in the mood for that, right? Osoba is talking about Nigeria economy. Okay. And as a investigative journalist, okay, he used to be a journalist too, that man, before he became governor, right? So, as an investigative journalist, Osoba, okay, is like just put Tinubu And just imagine if Tinubu and Osoba having conversation around the economy in Nigeria. Imagine what that conversation is going to be like. That's the people that are determining your lives. Ah, God damn it, man. Nǹkan ti ṣe Nigeria. A lot of people believe that there could never be anybody worse than Bokuwari. Tinubu is like, hold my cup. Let me show you that there can be worse person than Bokuwari. Listen to me. I know a lot of you might think we are showing you and kind of saying all of this because we don't like him. Number one, there is actually nothing to like about him, right? Then number two is proved us right. Okay? That he is a failure. APC, Egbekegbe represent failure. But do not feel cool typing, you will cry for 8 years. Come on, calm down. A lot of us are prepared for that. We are prepared for that. We know where it's going to end. Okay? And by the time they are done, all right, there's one thing we can guarantee you. Okay? There will likely be no Nigeria anymore. But I will also tell you what that means later. Don't worry. Don't feel good. Like you're feeling like what? You're feeling good. You are typing. You will cry for 8 years. You will cry for another 4 years. There's nothing you can do. It's your presence. I get it. Cry. Are you not looking around? Are you not seeing those who are really crying? Or are you the type that when Mayegun is on, you come for your therapy? Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris, the humbled slaves, the sophisticated morons, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the all-risers, the ass lickers too. A lot of you come here for your therapy. If Mayegun no turn up, some of you go enter markets, or sometimes even worse. I've had people who have told me that Mayegun, it's not as if to say I don't know what you are saying is true. Okay? But the fact that it is APC or that or APC this and that, and we just believe that may all of us perish. And all of us will see eventually perish. So Mayegun, when you come on like that, you will just use your platform to relieve our own frustration too. That's what they told me. They said they come here to relieve their frustration. It's not because they don't know that they are affected or they are not, you know what I mean? Like they come here because Mayegun's Diary Politico is like the therapy platform for them to come and remind everybody that whatever you say, whatever you like, now die everybody do 8 years back on you. So now you begin to see some of them when you say 8 years, you see have 7 years. You see have 7 years, 5 months. Yeah, 7 years. 7 years, 5 months. Very soon, that thing is going to be like a curse. You know these guys, you know these people, Nabi. They will squeeze you until you start bleeding and sweating blood. So when somebody tell you that, now 8 years, you're going to go take face this thing. Even you that is defending them today, is that thing will soon turn to curse. That you yourself will be like, now God punish you. God will never let us wait for 8 years. And 8 years, let me figure songbani back and 40, back and 40, back and 40. Now people will go buy. Now those will go remain. So those who can't remain, who can't get sense. Unfortunately, those who will go get sense that time, they will be the strongest humans because there are many people that the effect of 8 years of Bokuwari has run them mad and they can never recover. 8 years of Bokuwari destroyed families. Yes, that people will never recover from the trauma. When you add 8 years of Tinubu to it, it could deny. But those some people are like Kogi body. Sure you get. Even though we might all be kind of worried, like, how are we going to survive it now? How are we going to do all of this story along? For God's sake. As everybody is trying to wonder and all of that, right? There are people who will say, it no matter, they go still rough farm. In 2031, they will still be here and say, about how strong you. Hey, Chairman. They will. Hey, you lasted Bokwari's 8 years in Nigeria. You lasted 8 years of Tinubu. Baba. Again, something like that too. And I mean this, you might be laughing. It's not funny because it is going to be God. Like I said, imagine where Tinubu and the Osoba and maybe Bisi Akonde, imagine where the three of them are discussing economy and security or the unity of Nigeria. How can we unite Nigerians? Imagine elder statesmen with this mentality, and they are telling you, we are doing, Tinubu is is working to unite Nigeria. Tell me in all honesty, okay, that this man's statement, as somebody close to Tinubu, and imagine him and his closeness to Tinubu and what Tinubu probably also shares with them, and in a more kind of a divided country. Somebody now asked him, what do you think about the Igbos and the presidency and all of that? I said, you know me, I have told you, as Igbos watching me on Mayegun's Diary Political, I have told you, okay, that a very sound, full-blooded Igbo man or woman does not need anybody's sympathy. You understand? They don't need anybody's, sympathy, no. Don't need anybody's pity. I have told people, the reason why you are hearing more of Igbo versus Yoruba, Yoruba versus this that is riling people up is because the Igbos have, this generation of Igbos, they have started replying all of the name calling and labeling. They started responding back. Some of them decided to be bigots. Bigotry for bigotry. Usually, the Igbos who kind of try to calm the nerves. In fact, they will even send delegation and say, why are you upset with us? We are not fighting you. We are brothers. We are just here to do our, you know what I mean? Like Igbos. So, or you see this generation of Igbos, they say where they attack the Igbo. I don't know if you remember this anyway. So they attack, there was this riots, right? They attacked the Igbos up north. Okay. And the report came that, it was a targeted attack. So a reprisal took place in eastern Nigeria. Okay. And you know what I mean? Like blood for blood and all that. Since then, hardly would you hear that Igbos were targeted or massively killed in northern Nigeria. I don't know if you have probably noticed that too. I won't tell you the events because it is not something anybody should be proud of, okay? But some said that this generation of Igbos, they are not like their parents. Okay. So it's like the moment they start responding, when you say something about Igbos, they'll come back and fire. No. The history. You know what I mean? Like before, they never used to. They are always pretty much like their parents, like, no. Let the sleeping dog lie. Let the sleeping dog lie. Anyway, Igbo versus this versus that. The Igbos have never ruled Nigeria. Out of the 63 years of Nigeria's existence, the northern part of Nigeria, which is the Sharia North and partly the Middle Belt, right, ruled Nigeria for over 47 years. The southern part of Nigeria, which also include the one that called himself Azikiwe from Bayelsa, Goodluck Egbere Jolantano. When it was convenient, he actually called himself Azikiwe. Anyway, so the South ruled the remaining 16 years. The Igbos have never ruled Nigeria. Igbos have never ruined Nigeria. All right? But somehow, the Cold War, which has singled out the Igbos for the past 50 years, that narrative and the generation that kind of witnessed that genocide, who were both during the Cold War. You see the Igbos that survived the genocide themselves. All right, they ensure that their children never forget. That is something that Nigeria tried to forget and kind of erase. So they ensure that, listen, they have never forgiven us enough to even like let go anything. They wanted to extinguish us completely. And since they didn't succeed, you must never forget what happened. And that's kind of reasonable, I mean, my own people didn't face any kind of targeted ethnic cleansing called civil war. So I would never be able to understand what that is, okay? So their children will never forget. The survivors never forgot. Nigeria want to forget. They said, no winner, no vanquish. Move on. Baba, the people that ruined Nigeria for 63 years, they are telling the people that have never have a chance to contribute to that destruction, like as then they share the positions, who lead Nigeria. So there was an unwritten code, unwritten code during the Cold War, which I believe still exists today between the rest of Nigeria and the Igbos. So the Igbos are the target. So the Cold War that continues to this day, the narrative is the Igbos must still convince the rest of Nigeria in order to rule Nigeria. So if an Igbo man says he wants to be president, war. What is wrong with these Igbo people, self? They always like to want to control. Want to be president. Is that how to be president? You cannot even, you that is always so arrogant. How can you say you want to be president of Nigeria when everybody don't trust you? How? I don't understand. I mean, let us be honest. Igbo man must build bridges. Meanwhile, they have so many Igbos who have been building. A majority of them are professional bridge builders. Now, one of them be this last. Oh dear.
I built this country. I employed 13,800 workers. People employ nobody, and nobody asks them their source of wealth. I have 3 factories in Lagos, Nigeria. I have 2 factories in Ota, build manufacturing. I have 3 factories in Aba, manufacturing. And I'm a thief. And people that cannot explain where their source of wealth comes from, they are not thieves. I leave everything in the hands of God. May God be the judge.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip.
Let's leave everything in the hand of God, Jare. Oji Uzo Kalu. Mama, Papa, family, government. Amen.
Glorify your name to the call. Owner of the day, owner of the beginning and the head. I glorify your name to the call. Father of the glory. There is nobody that can share the glory with you. You are beginning of the glory, you are everlasting glory. You are glorify your name to the call.
Igbo must build bridges. A lot of them don't turn to CCECC. Some of them don't turn to Julius Baja. 30 years, 40 years. Some of them, they don't turn them to Sheikh in the north. Some of them, they have turned them to Igbakeji Otumba in the west. They have been taking 30, 40 years. They will tell you, I have been in politics for 40 years, but never build the bridge that will satisfy the likes of Osoba. Somebody will not get any business. Osoba, journalist. Then Osoba, politician. Then Osoba, governor. Then Osoba, godfather, whose children are also leeching off the people of Ogun State, like a confessor, Wole Soyinka, the Wole professor, the confessor. These are leeches, even though they are like old people, but they are leeches. So Igbos must build bridges. Chengbowiri, elder statesmen.
Make money, and the state government account. Well, I'll start with your last question. Of course, the Igbos have a right, like any Nigerian, and I support their right to the presidency. There should not be a situation where we are treating any part of the country as a secondary citizen. But you see, some of my brother Igbos think that it's a right, entitlement. Our brothers, the Igbos, must talk to ourselves. Only Ngige talk to me that he would like to be president, that came to me to talk to me that he will be president. When Abiola and I wanted to, we went around the whole of the East. We saw Nnamdi Azikiwe, we saw Onu, we saw Mbakwe. We went around to each of their homes in their villages. Most of the Igbos didn't think that they should talk to us in Southwest. I feel sorry about that. I mean, look, the handshake across the South, led by people like Ndibusi, Commodore Ebitu and Co. With us, Yoruba, that built up to June 12, was forgotten. Two, you see, the tribalistic politics cannot help. Anybody who wants to be president of this country must recognize the other tribes. The kind of entitlement cannot give the Igbos the presidency. As for Nnamdi Kanu, I have not discussed it with the president, but I know that from what I have from other sources, he is asking the Attorney General, can he, as a president, interfere with court processes? Can he order the court to stop the processes? These are issues. If we are negotiating something for Kanu, we have to look at the implications.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Babala nuisance. Don't think he didn't know what he's doing. We know about the dog whistle. So the Igbos are feeling entitled that they want to contest for president. Like, I don't understand. A Yoruba man want to be president. A Fulani man want to be president. Igbo man want to be president. But it is the Igbo man that is feeling entitled. He knows what he's doing. It's called dog whistle. He's making it look like the Igbos. No, they don't like the Yorubas. They don't regard me. They don't come to us. If Igbos want to be president of Nigeria, you will come to Osoba. Osoba will take you to Tinubu. Sure you get. And then they can then see how to see if you can then become president. Even though you are not second class. So we all have equal rights. Everybody get the rights. But they know what they are doing. In one of his statements of advising Tinubu to raise money, he says state governors, they should be collecting tenement rates. Like I told you, he no get any job. He has houses in London. He has houses in Nigeria, in Abuja, in Abeokuta, or in his Egbade. He is collecting pension, free money, free cars, free medical care for life from the Ogun State people's taxpayers' money. When I them they advise economically. All of that where they show us all of your mansions. You like say all these old criminals' eyes don't enter Ramo. they need to start taxing all of you and your mansions in this, the Igbo mansions, by the way.
Make money, and the state government, I can tell you, the state government, even in Ogun State, they are not collecting tenement rate, land use decree. We elite. I mean, I'm living in a mansion. It's because I was former governor. I pay my rate up to. I have to ask them. They don't even send me notices. But I mean, Governor Dakwabedu is now trying to now computerize the system, where you have all the land, and then this is the way to make money. In London, I have a house. I pay council tax. Demand is always the demand from me. There are many ways state government, all those of can make money. All those of us building mansions in Southeast, mansions in many parts of the country, we should be made to pay tenement rate, ground rent, and everything. So I can tell you the state government need to be up and doing in a way that even we, the elites, who are just changing government, are there.
Pastor, oko ọlọ́pàá ó ń ṣọ́ pastor. Àwọn ọmọjọ sticker ló ń ṣọ́ wa. Àṣé kò rí pé orí wa ti burú. Ìwọ má dídá o, ìpápá ẹ̀dá orin. Yẹ́n kàn wá sí báàbù tó ń jẹ. Kò jẹ́ gbèsè àgbẹ̀tọ̀ àbí kò gbẹ́rì tí kò gbè tí a fẹ́ jókòó tẹ̀ rà. Gbẹ́rì tí bá yọ píù. Àwòyí àárín. Mo mọ̀ ní pé wà nínú báàbù pé ìgbà tó fẹ́ mú Jésù kọjá ní àárín òun ògèrí Jésù. Kí ni Jésù lò? Àfẹ́ rí ló lò. Ìwọ má dídá ayé bàjẹ́.
Osoba, we no get job. Oh. He's an old man. Osoba is about, what's his age now? 89. No, 79. Very dubious character. Very dubious old man. Probably don't give a damn about anything per se. But Igbo mansions? I mean, why didn't he say all the mansions in Abeokuta, all the mansions in Lagos? So somebody said, Omo, they demolish all of our properties from Lagos, Igbos. And they tell you, say, go back to the east, go back to the east. Una don't go back to the east, they won't follow una enter that east too. By the time you go back to that your east, all those your mansions that you are showing everybody, Tinubu should, Tinubu is already saying that all of you who are rich, they are going to collect your houses. If you cannot prove the work you are doing, I mean, yeah, that's the plan. They said, if you cannot convince them what you are doing to make money, say you get, so they will collect the property and everything they can collect from you. If you can prove what you are doing to make money, you would have to pay extra taxes on your mansions. So all of you, we have your business in Lagos, your mansion in the east. Are you sure it's going to be viable anymore? Are you sure you are still going to? This is 2024 January. If you still start now, divesting your investment, Baba, you can begin to divest now because they won't chase you now, enter anywhere they won't chase you now until you probably will tell them enough. Enough, we've had enough. So somebody who listened to Tinubu's New Year broadcast actually shared his view. Osoba might be talking nonsense as is, you witness, right? So the credit for this clip also goes to the Arise News, by the way. So they've been very kind of, very, very, useful to our platform as part of our, platform in 2023, where we've been able to use some of their own materials emanated from their studio. So we are still grateful that they have not decided to start kind of reporting me for probably, I don't know, because I always give the credit, by the way, but again, Arise News, so thank you. Here is somebody who was in their studio dissecting the nonsense that Tinubu kind of is, and even deeper, to let you know that they might be using all the word salad, all the nonsense and all that. Listen, those they were counting on. I mean, hang on, there's actually one I want to show you. So they said that this is their budget on the left, okay? On the right, few states that kind of got some foreign direct investments, right? In the 7 months of Tinubu. Tinubu himself did not attract any foreign direct investment, right? According to what they said, Lagos State got about $308 million, almost 7 months. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? The entire Lagos State, in 7 months, received investment of $308 million. $308 million. And it is the highest. Abuja received 194.66 million. Okay. Ogun State received $1 million investment in 7 months. Okay, 1 million. Akwa Ibom received, you won't believe this, so 70,000. Not 700,000 though, $70,000 investment. Abia managed to attract 150 million. Third to Lagos, second to FCT. So this is in 7 months. Nobody is going to come and bring their investment to a place where what they see people who lack legitimacy, criminals, certificate forger, drug trafficker. I mean, let's go to that studio. This guy.
Now, we need to deal with corrupt issues, attitude to work, attitude to everything, to bring in foreign direct investment. You see, when you go outside and you talk to foreign investors, maybe you talk to presidents or whoever, as soon as you leave the room, they will sit down to have their own meeting. That's how investment works. It's like applying for a bank loan. As soon as you walk out of the door, the credit committee will sit down to have their own meeting as to Bosin's application. What do you gentlemen think? What is his balance sheet here? Does he have, how much does he deposit in this bank in the first place? If my deposits in the bank is almost at sub-zero and Bosin is here to ask for $1 billion, $1 billion, they're going to say, he doesn't even have deposit here to start with very well. What are his business? They're going to start scrutinizing your credit application, loan application, in your absence. So as soon as Mr. President leaves with his entourage, those countries will sit down with their presidents and the private sector to review Nigeria in our absence. So what they think about us, the assessments in our absence is what matters, not what goes on television. So the decision is not made through those handshakes. Decisions are made after those handshakes to say what are the realities on ground in Nigeria. Mr. President of that country, his minister, they've spoken, we've heard them. Now what do you decide? It's like looking for a wife. Now you guys are the bachelors, whatever. The first thing is that you come, you bring palm wine or whatever. I'm not going there. I just okay, I'll take that back. But again, the decision is made to either give you the girl or not after the suitor's family had left. What do you think?
Discussing marriage.
Economic issues.
You know the in-house.
Because budget has to be involved in planning marriage as well.
The bachelors in-house.
I'm talking about. I'm trying to link
the
it.
Population.
Yeah, I'm talking about the budgeting process now.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll talk about the foreign direct inflow. Okay. What is the budgeting? What's the revenue of the prospective suitor? What is his balance sheet? You remember that pension fund that said, the father-in-law says, do you have a pension account? And the gentleman was looking like, I don't know what it is. When you have a pension account, come back and hear from my daughter. That is how investment works. So we want investment, you have to be suitable as a suitor. So is Nigeria a suitable destination for investment? We have opportunities. Now you find why investors, if you call an MDA, a minister, or the CEO of a DG, and it's not available for a day or for a week, that investor is not going to wait forever. Remember, every dollar that every investor wants to put anywhere in the world has a competition. So don't take yourselves too seriously. Take what you need too seriously. We tend to take ourselves too seriously in this country rather than take what we are doing so serious. We believe that we are serious, right? But again, are we doing things seriously? That is where the difference is. So that dollar is waiting. If you take 1 week out of 53 weeks in 2024, you are left with 52 weeks. That investor is not going to lose 1 week because that money is not even his own. Maybe it's a pension fund from Chicago, from wherever, and they are waiting for returns on their own investment. So every dollar we are asking for, either from India, from China, from everywhere, is competing with another dollar from another country, from another region in the world.
I mean, Listen, I mean, because you said a lot, and the truth is, it now makes sense why photo ops in Saudi, deals announced months after.
That's a reception.
Photo ops with Olaf Scholz, deals announced. So, I want Nigeria to succeed. What are the things we can do that when these investors will talk about Nigeria at the back of President Tinubu, they will talk about us favorably? Because there was a time that they used to talk about us for 8 years ago, 2015 here. Most of the FDAs into Africa flowed to Nigeria. But today,
that's our political capital.
But today, when people are talking about investment in the oil sector, we call ourselves a giant of Africa and oil, but they are investing more in the oil sector in countries like Egypt that we will not tout.
Angola.
Yeah, and Angola.
Senegal,
not tout
Sierra
with our
Leone.
capacity. Senegal, Sierra Leone.
Yes, DR Congo.
Than us. I mean, look at even Liberia. Look at Rio.
Yes.
The mining giants coming. So how would they talk about us and say, okay, this makes sense? Because if you say 200 million population, the first thing is, as we speak today, what's the purchasing power of that 200 million population?
It's very simple. Tanzania just announced that their total investment deals done in 2024 was $20 billion.
Deals completed?
Yes. In 2024. Not announced. Was
Completed.
around $20 billion. President Samia Suluhu just sacked the entire board of the country's electricity company a few days to Christmas because she said, I'm tired of these power outages. She sacked the entire board. You can't mess with Madam President in Tanzania. Hold on a second. That's not over yet. If you look at the island of Zanzibar just next door, which was part of it, look at how investment flows is going there. South Africa had one of this worst year in terms of electricity outages in 2023. By the end of third quarter, September last year, South Africa has posted about $22 billion FDI into the country, even though they suffered two major economic downside. First, electricity up to level 8 outages by Eskom, and second, Transnet, which is the logistics company. The shipyards in South Africa and Durban everywhere was failed. The national rail line was in trouble. Despite that, foreign direct investments flew into South Africa between July and September last year up to the tune of about 20-something billion. Well, now, what does that tell you? That despite the fact that we have the same electricity problem in Nigeria, such investment flows was not coming here. Despite the problem of electricity in South Africa, some of the automakers in the world were still increasing their factory portfolio and production in South Africa, because South Africa lost its industrial #1 position in Africa to Egypt just about a year or two ago. And they're very sore about it. They are very unhappy. They want to get that title back as the industrial hub of the continent. Now, so when something is missing here, in which South Africa has a major power outages. I've tried to interview sometimes one of our correspondents in South Africa at my show at 7 p.m. and he says, I don't have electricity. I've had to talk to some investment executive chairman of companies and say, oh, please hold on, I have to put on my generator to do it. In South Africa, yet investors were flowing in because they are doing massively. What did President Ramaphosa say? Look, he liberalized the whole thing. If you're doing 100 megawatts and below, it's free entry, free exit. I don't want to sign any paper. Just go bring it on. He brought in a new minister last year of electricity. Now you have a minister of power, but he brought in another minister that his job is to ensure that there is power 24/7 and give that new minister of electricity a one-page, one-line mandate.
But it's not worked.
But hold on a second, he's attracting investment in. So they are using the opportunity